you're new, welcome back if you are not. We are entering the third and the final stage of our garden renovation. If you caught up on the last two videos, we went from having a very barren, concrete-filled, horrible back garden to almost having somewhere that we can hang out all summer with friends, barbecue on, and really just enjoy those 4 days of sun that you get in the UK. Many, many months ago, we spent a lot of time clearing out all of the old concrete, digging out the garden to be level. We filled a couple of skips. We had a lot of help from our friends. And over the last two episodes, we've been rebuilding the garden. I will link those up here if you'd like to watch them first. We've got to a pretty good stage. We've got the patio down, we've got a shed, we've got outdoor furniture, and now it's time for the finishing touches, which is grass, planters, and then getting some plants in for the summer. We're approaching the kind of 20-degree days in London, which means the sooner we can get this done, the sooner we truly have a place to relax when the sun's out, enjoy ourselves on the weekend, although, I mean, let's be honest, we'll still be renovating, but it's nice to dream. Okay, time is of the essence. Let's get cracking. I also have got new hair. It's very dark and very red. We're not going to stress about it right now. So here we go. Shed's looking pretty good. But as you can see, we don't currently have a roof. We've got a roof, but water can get right through that. So Thomas just picked up some felt from Screwfix, and he's gonna fashion himself a new one. Mentioned in the last video that we needed a skip, and that has now been delivered, so we're just going to get cracking on the very last of the garden digging. There's two areas we need to focus on. The first is just down the side of the house, so we got patio all the way to here, but we are also getting this here, but our patio guys were going away or had another job, so they basically couldn't come and do that. So they're coming back tomorrow. So we need to get all of this to 100 mil below the old drain. As a result, there is going to be a step down into this area. As you can see, those drains there are lower than those drains there. But we didn't want to raise them because, of course, it would then block the vents. And it was also just a bit of an added expense to replace the drains. They're quite expensive to change, and there was just basically no reason why we would need to. Also, we're barely going to use this bit down the sides. If there's a tiny step down, we're not fussed. So that to focus on. And then just this bigger bit over here. So I mentioned in the last video, we need to get it to 100 mil below that patio over there, exactly the same, so they can lay the sub base, MOT, all of that sort of stuff. And then we are going to be laying the grass, which is over here. How exciting. So yes, just spending the rest of the day digging away here so we can get to a good spot to begin laying the grass as soon as possible. Today is Saturday, the patio guys are coming on Monday, and Tom is hoping to use their compactor while they're here so that we can get cracking on the fake grass area. So we've got all of today to get it clear. We do have tomorrow as well, but we want to get it done in one day. We've got the skip, we're gonna get cracking. Okay, so now it's clear, and the only things that are left are things that we would chuck away anyway. I'll talk you through the grain plan. We've got 3 of these big buckets, they're all stacked. So I am going to pickaxe all of this area, scoop it up, put it into the buckets, and then Tom comes and takes the buckets and puts them into the skip. He's also got his own little system going on down the side of the house. And let's be honest, making much better progress than I am, so I will get
too busy talking to the camera.
I know. Oh well, I'll get to work. That's right, show 'em how strong you are, Tom.
I'm sweating.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Oh, I feel like it might be quite hot today or something.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest of this is not going to be very eventful. So we'll keep going. and I'll check in once all of this. Okay, apologies for the abrupt ending there. The camera died. It's now multiple days later, and it's also the weekend. So we're going to get cracking on the back garden. So the first thing is to go and get materials. We want to put down the grass, and we want to get in planters today, fingers crossed. And then tomorrow we want to go to a garden center, pick up some plants, put the outdoor furniture out. Fingers crossed again. But we need to start by getting some supplies. It is approaching 1 p.m. So far today we have gone and picked up the materials we needed, gone and picked up our plasterer and all of his tools, walked around the garden pretending we're about to start work, and yet no work has actually commenced. This is also because I actually couldn't start the day until we finished Ozark. We were like 10 minutes into the final episode of the final season, and last night we were super sleepy, so we switched it off. And I just had to finish it. So we've also spent 40 minutes watching Ozark and doing no work, but that's okay. The reason we're off for some more materials is because our plasterer is actually here as well. Today he's working in the kitchen. He's got one final wall to do and the new plastering around the new window we put in, all of that stuff. So basically just like all the finishing jobs of the kitchen, because that is getting delivered super, super soon. And we're so excited. I can't wait to just see it in place and cook in it. But anyway, let's go get those supplies. So, seconds after buying those boards from Wix, we walked into Selco and they were on special. The Wix ones are £19 a board and these are just under £13 a board. So that times 7. We'll be returning the Wix ones because we don't like doing anything easy around here, do we?
No, we don't. So I was umming and ahhing about how to pin the artificial grass to the ground. A lot of people said to do a timber base, but I found if you did a timber base, like surely over time the wood's just going to rot and it's just not going to be lasting. So I was trying to think of another solution, and that's where we got these U-pins.
Now we're home, Tom's got the agonizing job of bringing through all the MOT in the rain.
My workout for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm certainly not jealous, but I've got my own job to do. Well, I'm looking at trying to level all of this out. Now, I've got a bit of a plan. What we're doing is getting a 3.6 meter long floorboard or patio board, decking board, there we go. And we're going to lay it down with a leveler, and we're basically going to make sure that it's level both sides. And then what we're going to do is try to make sure that all of the dirt underneath is pretty much level the whole way across, because this area here is pretty high, so we do need to move some of this over here. So we're just laying these out at various positions to see where we're overly low and we can shift some of the dirt. Okay, so for putting artificial grass down, you need 50 to 70 mil of sub base. We're going easy on ourselves and saying 50 mil. And then 20 mil of sharp sand, and then your grass. So 50 mil plus 20 mil plus 40 mil is 110 mil, or 11 centimeters. So we're just making our way down the garden with a plank of wood, and we know that we need to be 11 centimeters below the bottom of that plank of wood before we start all of those levels. So this is how we're doing it. So areas like this are 12 centimeters below, meaning we're absolutely fine. We just add an extra centimeter of sand or something. Whereas areas like this are 9 centimeters below, meaning that we need to be 2 centimeters lower to meet all of those minimum requirements and make sure that this grass is nice and flat and ends perfectly at the end of both patios. So obviously this one is 1 centimeter too low and this one is 2 centimeters too high. So if you move 1 centimeter from there into there, they're both going to be level. So we are basically moving this plank along the entire garden in stages and just getting everything perfect. And then we can give it with a run with the compactor, get the sand down, get the sub base down, and continue. Okay, so the soil is down and we've put the, I'm gonna say compactor, not whacker plate, onto it. And yeah, I think it's about as compact as we're gonna get it. Now time for the sub base. Okay, so Tom's gonna be dumping it down. And then I'm going to be using that to flatten it out. We are now bringing over the compactor. All the MOT is laid, or lots of the MOT is laid. We're going to compact it and then see where we get. Okay, so the MOT is now down. It's been flattened or compacted. It's still not level, which we're a little bit concerned about, but apparently the sand is what helps in the dips and sort everything out. So
it's pretty level.
Tom says it's pretty level. It is level. There's just dips, you know, where the bigger rocks are. I think it's kind of hard to compact that. We could just get more MOT and flatten it, but apparently the sand is where it helps level everything out. So we're just going to put down the weed membrane now, and then on goes the sand. So this is the weed membrane. You just get one big roll of it and you just cut it with a pen knife and start again there. This, I mean, it's in the name, right? But it's going to stop weeds from being able to grow through and then cause issues with your artificial grass. So the final step, covering this with sand.
Wait, that's the final step.
Well, the grass.
The grass is the final.
The final preparation step.
Yes. And we'll be using silver sand. It's like a fine, sharp sand. So again, just to level it, and it's a softer feel on the grass. Got a good idea.
What?
Or we make just a giant sand pit.
Imagine that in the house. Oh, before we let the sand, we could always have a beach party, a beach-themed party. At university, we had a beach-themed party, where we filled up a inflatable pool with sand. I don't know where we got the sand or why we did it. And, wait, did we fill up an inflatable pool with sand, or did we cover the entire ground with sand? Anyway, I don't know this, I can't remember the specifics, but there was a sand pit inside a flat, and it was a terrible idea. Okay, but we've all grown up now, so back to the much more adult task of laying artificial grass. And this part is done. Now to flatten. So the whacker plate does leave like little mounds that we can't seem to sort out. So we're just stomping those mounds into place like this. It's a moment. We're getting the grass. It's going down. So this was about the moment when things really started to go south. After weeks of tossing up between real grass or fake grass, real grass or fake grass, we eventually settled on fake grass. And neither of us were 100% on it, but we knew it was the best thing for us and our lifestyles. But then when Tom started rolling out this grass, both of us felt defeated. It was absolutely disgusting. But the thing with a roll of grass is that it's been rolled so tightly for such a long time that it's super compressed. So things do look up after this, but we basically gave up for the night after we saw that grass, and we did not want to look at it for a single other second. But I was just popping in to say, if you're not sure on artificial grass, give it some time. It does get better. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Good morning. Kicking things off today with yet another trip to Wicks. The weather is absolutely stunning today and we are wrapping up the garden. We've spent the morning running around shops, going to Wicks and B&Q and getting all of the different bits we need for the edging, the end of the planters, all of the sand for the grass, and now I think it's time we nail it in. Okay, so before we finish cutting the grass, we do want to build the planters and get it in there so we can cut the grass perfectly to size where the planters end. So that's the next task, while Tom is off dropping off JJ and also getting some unexpected edging that we think we're going to need over there. I'm going to get cracking on planning what that's going to look like. So we've already picked up the planks for them. We know how tall they are, how wide they are, etc. So I've just measured out the space that we'd want a planter in and I've drawn it up basically. We're doing it a little bit smaller than the actual width of the garden, and that's because there is one bit right by the shed that has a lot of concrete, and so it's going to be really hard to kind of knock that planter into place. So we're just going to make it a little bit shorter than that, cover the concrete area with just some white rocks, and I think it should look okay. Now I've measured this out here. The width of the plant is going to be 55 centimeters, but the width of the planks is 3.2 centimeters. So I'm just taking off 2 lots of 3.2 from this width here, so we know how big that plank needs to be, because we are going to get the front planks to go all the way to the end. If that doesn't make sense, it will soon, but basically I just need to cut 4 lots of 49.6 centimeters and 4 lots of 327 centimeters. I'm then going to drill all of them into this, which will act as a corner, and then this gets knocked into the ground and I think we've got planters. It almost seems too easy. Okay, I've now just marked up where all of these need to be cut, and then I've got the 49.6 I believe all going along one plank. And while Tom chops all of those up, I will now get onto the edges of the garden and trying to make those look pretty. Here's all the pebbles. It could be cleaner, definitely, but in order to do so, I think we'd need to install an edging over here, and it would mean taking up some of the sub base and cutting the grass smaller, and we just could not be bothered. So we are willing to take a little bit of imperfection here. I'm now just going to keep running this down all around the patio and down the back as well. To do that though, first, I know this is concrete, but Tom really wants me to put weed membrane down, so I'm just going to do that now. It's not going as smoothly as I was hoping. And there we go. All filled in. It completely inexplicably changes color when we changed bag, but it's the same brand, same stone, same color. So we're assuming this is just a bit of sand or something that'll wash off. Anyway, I'm hoping. And then yeah, all the way down here, don't worry, we are still sorting out this bit of grass. I mean, it's not perfect, but it certainly neatens things up a little bit. And now that that's done, we can crack on with the planters. Now, I'm thinking of doing something a little bit rogue, but the area of our fence here, our neighbor's fence is a lot higher than our fence, so the side of our garden goes up quite steeply right at the end. We can't bring it back down level because that would destabilize our neighbor's fence, and obviously we're not going to do that, but we do want a way of hiding kind of the incline right at the end. That's why we're doing planters. But when I initially thought of the planters, I would be using 3 decking boards on either side in terms of height, but to get the back of the planter in, we would have to dig up a lot of that soil, which again is just going to cause issues. So I was thinking of potentially creating a planter with 3 boards at the front and 1 board at the back equal to the top board of the front, and then it can kind of just slot in without us having to dig out a lot of the dirt at the back. I don't know if what I'm saying makes much sense, but let me put it together, build it, slot it in, and tell you what I mean. Both Tom and I went out last night, but only one of us can hack it. Which is why I maybe haven't been the most enthusiastic today. But this is where we've got to. We've basically got 2 sides of the planter, just need the additional bit that's going to go into the soil here, and then we'll pop on that back. We have realized though, we are going to need some more of these things, and we're kind of going to want them here and here because already the boards are a little bit warped. And with the pressure of the soil, it's just going to push against it. It's quite a long span. It needs extra support, in Tom's words. So we just put it up to see what it looks like. We are going to have to dig back there and back there to get it in, but I'm hoping now you can see what I mean. By the time it twists, this will kind of meet the top there, and all of the soil that naturally goes up hasn't need to be dug down to get to the level if we did have 2 more boards. And then at the front, because this is grass level and this is much higher, we can now, I mean, we'll obviously get tarpaulin or something stapled in, but we can now fill it with compost and start planting. Now Monday, it's like 8 p.m. The sun is very much going down. It's almost nighttime, but we've just finished work and finished dinner and cleaned up and done some washing and getting onto the garden, but we are committed to getting this grass done. The only thing that we haven't done, and we can't work out for the lives of us how to do, is how to get this grass down. So for context, when the patios were laid, they were laid on cement, whatever. Anyway, the cement goes a little bit further out than the patio. So what that means is that we're not able to nail the grass in because there's cement underneath, and we've tried, we literally cannot nail those in. So we don't really know how to stick it down. I know that there's artificial grass glue, but I don't know if that's going to work because the cement is such an uneven surface, and we've also now put MOT and sand. So yeah, if you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comments below. We are lost. We do not know what to do, and we can't leave it simply because it will curl over time, and it can move. It needs to stay somewhere. Anyway, we're very confused, so please let me know.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm absolutely sweating buckets right now. A bit of sweeping and yeah, it's broken me. I'm knackered, but the grass is looking good. Can't wait to see it in the morning when the sun is shining. Over to autumn.
So it's the next morning. I'm still half asleep and quite swollen, but this is what the garden is looking like now. The grass is definitely starting to take shape. But as I said yesterday, my God, is this a much bigger task than we thought it was going to be. So unfortunately, no grand reveal this week, but over the next week, we'll be working super hard on filling the planters, getting the plants in, sticking the grass down. If you have any tips on that, please let me know. Cleaning up the patio, getting the patio furniture in, getting some lights, and finally calling the garden done. So if you would like to see that, please hit the subscribe button. We upload videos every Wednesday, and next Wednesday will be the garden reveal. Last night we ate dinner, sat on the grass, and it was just nice. It just feels so amazing to have an outdoor space. I also exercised out there yesterday at lunch, which we've not been able to do ever in the garden. And yeah, it's really feeling like it's starting to take shape, and we're so excited to see the finished product. If you've enjoyed watching this all come together, please give it a like or a comment, anything to support. Thank you as always for watching and supporting in any way that you can. I'll see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.